Louisiana is experimenting with privatizing their school system, and
Great, because when they privatized their prisons, it worked out terrific.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Them privatizing the prisons has been absolutely disastrous, but it's not like they're going to change their policy on that anytime soon. But they're taking tens of millions of dollars out of the public school system and offering vouchers to cover the tuition of low-income and middle-income families, right? So if they want to send their students to a private school, they'll be able to do it free of cost initially. Now, this is disastrous for a number of different reasons, because it is going to reinforce the notion that public schools are ineffective because you're taking funding away from them. If you take funding away from them, of course they're going to fail. You're setting them up for failure. But another interesting aspect of this that no one really talks about is there's this idea that private schools are better. You get a better education, they're more prestigious, right? Mm-hmm. However, the prestigious schools within Louisiana are already full. They have maybe room for 4 new students, voucher students, and they can make room.
Are they not merciful? They've got a whole 4 students ready to go. Okay, so this is really interesting angle. Where do the rest go?
The rest will end up going to religious private schools that are not prestigious, that do not have a good track record. Mm-hmm. And also, here's what happens in the beginning. The Republicans say, oh, look, we're going to give you government assistance so you can afford this private education. And then when we privatize our school systems, do you think the Republicans are going to want to spend tax dollars on sending your student to a private school? Hell no. They're going to say, oh, you got to lift yourself up from the bootstraps. Figure it out.
And they're going to say, hey, listen, man, we have tough budget times. What could we do? And so, we're going to give less of a voucher, and, the rest you got to come up with. Hey, like Anna said, bootstraps. So it's a threefold win for the Republicans. Now, look, I used to be a lot more open to the idea of private schools because I'm, ultimately, as an American, I can't help myself. I think competition will get you better, and private it works a lot better in a lot of cases. Why not in schools, et cetera? But partly through the education that I received through our audience, I see what's the game that's being played here. And the reality is they don't really care about a better education. Number one, they want to funnel money to the guys that are running the private schools, which then funnel money to politicians. That's like, politics 101 in America now. Number two, they get to take on the teachers' unions, which they think gives money, and oftentimes do give money to the Democrats. So it's political in that the Republicans don't give a damn about your kids' education. They think, how am I going to help myself politically? Well, I'm going to take away power from the teacher unions, right? Now, when you take money out of the public school system, it also allows you to jerry-rig it so that the best students go to the private schools, and then when the least motivated kids, or in most of the cases, not even a matter of motivation, but simply the ones with the least amount of resources, the ones not as likely on hold to do better, are left in the public school system, then it becomes a vicious cycle where they go, you see that? The best students are at the private schools, and the worst students are at the public schools, so the public schools must be bad, defund them. Now, this adds a fourth element to that, which is, plus, it helps religion, because you're going to funnel all these kids into private religious schools. And it's funny, my wife and I just had a discussion about this, about sending our son to a religious preschool. Would we be in favor of that? Because in our area, some of the preschools that are religious are really good, right? And oftentimes, of course, this story happens to be about Louisiana, where they don't do as well. Some religious schools in other states do terrific, right? And I said no, because they do. They teach religion, and they teach the whole thing that we don't agree with, and about how, if you pray to Yahweh or whoever else, that you're going to be better off, and it's because of Jesus or whatever. Well, that's not what we believe. So if they do a system like this, where, you're forced to send your kid to a religious institution because that's the only spots that are left open, well, that's also a huge problem.
Right, and the students suffer for many different reasons, and it goes beyond just the religious part of it. Think about how for-profit colleges are run. Think about how for-profit prisons are run. Most of them are thinking about their bottom line, so they cut costs. They're not caring about the quality of the education. All they care about is, how much money can I make off of these students?
And think about how naive you are if you think, as I used to, by the way, that, well, then they'll have to compete for the students, and so they'll have to have a great level of education to attract more students. No, in this day and age, all you got to do is get the contract from the government. And all you got to do to get a contract from the government is not to deliver better service, but to deliver better bribes to the politicians. So if you give enough campaign donations, you're going to get the money anyway, whether it's a for-profit prison or a for-profit school. All you got to do is do crony capitalism, capture the government, and you'll get that, and then you cut costs and you deliver a terrible education. and it doesn't matter. That way you make more money. Your margins are larger.